सादा जी आपके चरणों में प्रणाम और आप मोबाइल पे देख करके ही आप उसी कैमरे में ही आप मुखातिब हो. My first question is that what was your feeling when you first came to India and your first encounter with Ma Ganga? What was your feeling then?
जब मैं आई इंडिया में 25 वर्ष पूर्व, I was only 25. मैंने स्टैनफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी से ग्रेजुएशन किया और फिर मैं PhD कर रही थी. इंडिया आए केवल एक एडवेंचर के लिए, घूमने के लिए, just taking a little vacation from my PhD program. जब ऋषिकेश आए, ऋषिकेश सबसे पहले जगह. We opened a 500-page Lonely Planet guidebook in Delhi and said Rishikesh. उसी समय कोई गूगल नहीं था, तो गाइडबुक था and said Rishikesh. ऋषिकेश आए और गंगा जी का दर्शन किया. जैसे गंगा जी की तट पे खड़े होकर उनकी दर्शन किया, my whole life was transformed. It was the most incredible thing. It was like a veil was pulled off of my eyes and also off of every way of knowing that I had. And suddenly I experienced the divine everywhere, in myself, as one, as not separate, from Ma Ganga, from the divine, from the universe. And I knew that this is my home. मुझे यहाँ रहना है. And it's been the most incredible blessing now for 25 years to be here on her holy banks.
So how this idea of writing a book from Hollywood to Himalaya came into your mind, and what is the purpose behind that?
So क्या है कि यहाँ पे भारत में mostly the leaders, the spiritual leaders, are saints who उनकी या जन्म से या छोटी सी बचपन से they were on this spiritual path. They knew that I am not for this world. They were not interested in games or toys or girls or these sorts of things. They just were interested, choti si bachpan se, in God. So when we hear these stories, they are very inspiring. मतलब प्रणाम करने के मन होता है कि wow, what a story. But for the general people, हमको लगता है कि oh, maybe 5 जन्म के बाद I can be that blessed that something like that can happen to me. But people don't necessarily feel like in this life, maybe कर सकती हूँ. क्योंकि it's something totally amazing and divine. My story was much more of a normal story. बचपन तो normal था in so many ways. I did not know from my childhood that I was spiritual. In fact, I would have told you I was not spiritual. I was a scientist, I was an academic, I was an activist. मैं बचपन से पक्का vegetarian थी. But I was not a religious person or spiritual person. I also had a lot of privilege and opportunity and everything, and also a lot of difficulties and struggles and challenges. And so I realized that people need to know that just because you didn't come out of the womb enlightened doesn't mean that you cannot experience awakening and transformation and divine grace. That grace does not discriminate. So मुझे लगा कि मुझे मेरी स्टोरी लिखना चाहिए ताकि दूसरे लोगों को ऐसा प्रेरणा मिलेगा कि oh, she's not different from us. जैसे हमारे बचपन था, her childhood also was like that in so many ways. Just as we have struggles and challenges, she also had struggles and challenges. And yet, she's experienced this incredible awakening, this connection with the divine, this transformation. और इसका मतलब है कि हम भी कर सकते हैं. That we also can heal, we also can be transformed, we also can be free of the pain and the anger and the grudges and the identification. And we also can become, in our awareness, that truth of oneness with the divine. तो इसलिए मैंने लिख दिया दूसरों को प्रेरणा देने के लिए, and to help them really understand that this experience is not only for people who were born in India. It's not only for people jinki families are from Sanatan Dharma, but actually it's for everyone. Ye jo Himalaya ki teachings. Dekhiye, there's two ways of looking at yourself in the world. One way is the Hollywood way. Hollywood way kehte hain, you are your body. Its shape, its size, its age, its bank account, its career, its title. You are your body. Himalayan way of thinking says, you have a body. Isko dhyan dena hai, sharir ek mandir hai, lekin you are not the body. You are the soul, you are the spirit. You are one with God. And that transformation is something that everyone can experience. So mujhe laga, I see all the time in America and Europe and so many countries, people are suffering. Sab kuch hai unke paas, but they are suffering. Puja Swami ji hamesha kehte hain ki sab kuch set hai, lekin aadmi upset hai. So that's what's happening in so much of the West. And that was what my life was like before I came. So I feel like I was the poster child for that. And now I can share with people how to go from keval cheezein set hai to swayam bhi set ho sakte hain.
My final question to you, Ma Sadhvi, is that you were just discussing with Guruji that maybe it is the past karmas or the past birth that has brought you to the land of India to actually be a bridge between East and West. But what's your personal connect with Guruji, and what do you say with about Guruji, how you connect with Guruji?
देखिए, मुझे कुछ पुराने जन्म के बारे में मालूम नहीं है. पूज्य स्वामी जी हमेशा कहते हैं सबसे पहले इस जन्म को figure out करो. Then look at the past. There's so much trouble in this life anyway that you're having. First, solve that. But what I know is mera family ki religion was Judaism. So mera bachpan se I was raised in the Jewish tradition. और in the Jewish tradition, देखो Christianity में वो कहते हैं कि भगवान एक बार ज़मीन पे आए Jesus Christ की रूप में. Jewish religion कहते हैं कि भगवान कभी नहीं आते हैं रूप में, कभी रूप नहीं लेते हैं, और उसी रूप के बारे में सोचने भी गलत है कि भगवान केवल formless, nameless, like that. तो जैसे मैंने कहा कि I was not religious, तो मैंने कभी उसका question नहीं किया. ठीक है, ऐसा है, मैं भगवान के बारे में सोचते भी नहीं थी. तो जैसे पूज्य स्वामी जी का सबसे पहले दर्शन, so suddenly मुझे मालूम था that I was actually in the presence of divinity here in form. It was not that all of God from all of the world disappeared from those places and only was here, but that this being in front of me was different than any being in whose presence I had ever been. And that the difference was the way that he was this embodiment, manifestation of, transmitter of the divine. And it was amazing because suddenly everything that I had been taught was different from what I was experiencing in this moment. And I realized, my God, if I've been wrong, जो मैं सोच रही थी, अगर that's not true, क्योंकि आज मेरे ऐसे इतनी strong अनुभव हो रहा है. If what I was told about God was not true, then maybe everything I've been told about everything is also untrue. And it was the most beautiful moment because my whole brain, I was a great academic. मैं तो straight A student थी. But I realized in that moment that maybe everything I've been taught was also wrong. If what I thought about God was wrong, then maybe everything else I thought about myself, about the universe, about life, maybe all of that was also wrong. So I became this beautiful blank slate. And I realized that jitna bhi padhai kiya, I actually haven't learned anything of value in terms of real life. And it was the most extraordinary moment, an extraordinary opportunity. And तब से it's been so beautiful to have a guru. लोग पूछते हैं, खासकर विदेश से पूछते हैं कि क्या guru is really important? Like, why do we need a guru? If God is there and we are there. So I always say कि देखो, अगर आपका spiritual अनुभव is so clear, you have no ego, you have no anger, you have no patterns of thought आपके बचपन से, you have no ignorance, you have no desires, you have no fears, you have no attachments, you have no jealousies. तो ठीक है. A guru would still be beautiful, but maybe not necessary. Maybe you can just be one with God. But for everyone who has even thoda sa bhi ego ho, thoda sa bhi ignorance ho, thoda sa bhi illusion ho, thoda sa pattern of thought ho, thoda sa bhi vasana ho, so the guru is essential because kya hai? The ego is so cunning that it comes in and it tells us what our desires want, what our fear tells us, what our patterns tell us. Ego comes in and convinces us कि हाँ हाँ वो सही है, ऐसे ही करना चाहिए, ये तो बिल्कुल ठीक है. And if you don't have the guru, it's so easy to go astray. I always say I feel like a lump of clay on a potter's wheel. And that the guru is spinning me around. Kabhi kabhi aise marna hai. He doesn't, not physically. Unki guru was hitting him so much physically, but he does not slap us physically. But the teaching, the molding, it feels like a slap on the ego. The ego is set in some way. The patterns, the ignorance is set in some way. And the guru spins you and hits you and molds you. And then you get thrown in the fire. But at the end of the day, what you realize is, wow, usi lump of clay se, I have become something that is actually useful for the world. Like the potter makes, chahe ek bowl ho, chahe flower ka vase ho, chahe jal ka pitcher, matlab whatever the potter is making, it's becoming useful. And with the grace of Puja Swamiji, with the grace of the Guru, you become actually a useful instrument for the universe in the hands of the divine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.